you can go Alt Tab.
Sorry, figured it out. Yeah, it
There you
was
go. You got it.
had thrown everybody at the very back for whatever reason. So I had to close my other windows and find you again.
Very good.
Technology is such a thrill sometimes.
All right. Well, we are recording. It's all you, man.
All right, welcome everybody. This will be the AFTW meeting for March 10th, 2026. I'll be your host today, Brent Crow. Joining me is Jim Pittman, will be running some of the comments in the back and helping with meeting administration. Uh, for those who are new, this is the Arizona Flight Training Workgroup meeting. It is simply a forum get together of all the flight training in Arizona to discuss safety issues, news, events, things going on that we should be aware of. And the whole objective is to try and improve safety for our training environment. So, um, a couple little housekeeping items to get through. Just FYI, we are recording this if you didn't get the memo already. And so if you have questions you want to say offline, we'll cut the recording at the end and you can be free to ask. But don't hesitate to speak up. This is the forum for it. Welcome to any new attendees if this is your first time. If you don't know how to raise your hand, it should be at the bottom of your Zoom screen. So if is anybody a new person here? If you want to raise your hand, we could just say hello.
Yeah. Go ahead and just unmute, introduce yourself.
Yep. We were all new here at one point or another, but it looks like everybody, I'm guessing, is either um, veterans or if you are new and just don't want to talk, that's fine. But welcome the new attendees. And again, don't have side conversations in the chat. Have them in the just unmute your mic and feel free to speak up anytime. But if you want Wings credit for this, because this is a Wings event webinar, you can drop your email address in the chat and we will use that email address to provide you with credit following the meeting. And then see our Facebook page, which I think, Jim, we've already dropped that in the chat.
I will do that. On the Wings credit, it's only necessary to drop your email if it's different than the one you use with Zoom. We automatically have attendance from the Zoom system, and we will send that attendance in for Wings credit. So only if you use a different email address at fasafety.gov.
Fantastic. We do a Facebook site, so check that out. Jim will post the link there in the chat. And Ron, do you have a question? I see you unmuted your mic. I guess not. But you can also check out our website. It's aftw.org, and that's where you can find all the information about things going on, new posts, happenings, next meetings. So go check out the site. There's also all of our practice areas. We have some downloadable maps you can throw on your ForeFlight or other device you use for mapping, and that way you know what the procedures are for the practice areas. There's also like the Stanfield stack procedure up on the website. If you're unfamiliar with the Stanfield stack and instrument practice approach procedures, you can check it out there. We also do have a YouTube channel, so we do upload meeting minutes to the YouTube channel. So if you're wanting to get and see what happened in past events, you can check that out as well. So before we jump into other items, any other housekeeping items anybody has questions on? Okay, moving on. So first upcoming event, under local events, we have Cary Grant was telling us that there's the FAA modernization project. He found that on, deep buried in the FAA dark web, apparently, because it's not easy to find. There is a series of meetings that are out for public attendance, and this is linked to the FAA's modernization project. They're basically looking at redesigning the Phoenix area airspace. I know that particularly there's look at how Gateway and Chandler's airspace is going to look. But I would encourage you to check out this link. Jim, if you wouldn't mind dropping that in the chat. But that link will take you to a place where you can register to attend those meetings. They are webinars, I believe. And so I encourage you to participate if you're a Phoenix Flyer and you want to have input on the way the airspace is designed. I do expect, like I said, that you'll probably, at least I'm an East Valley Flyer, so I expect that we'll probably see changes, or they have already put a notice of proposed rulemaking for changes to Gateway and Chandler's airspaces. We don't know what that exactly will look like. There was a textual version of some example that they were going to increase the diameter of Gateway's airspace and Chandler's airspace and change the way that Gateway airspaces cuts off Chandler's airspace. And I believe they're going to flip that, but it's all still up in the air at the moment. So please check that out. I highly encourage you to get involved with that. Is there any other local events that anybody wants to discuss? I guess that's kind of more of an.
And Brent, this is a good time to mention for anyone watching this recording on YouTube, the document that you're showing right now is a Google Doc, and we have the link in the description. So just go to the video description and you can pull up this Google Doc and click on all the links, even for everyone watching the recording later.
Good point. Okay. Moving on, AFTW website updates. So we do have our current KML overlay for flight is up there. If you want to download it, there's instructions up there as to how to get it on your device. And you can use that for flying. But again, please feel free to spread the word and share the AFTW website. I know there's a lot of out-of-state folks still in the state due to the snowbird season. So if you have other folks that are new flyers of the community, it'd be good to get them aware of the AFTW's website and the resources on our site. We also have a brief poster, like a flyer that we could share that's on our website. So we'll post that also in the chat. Does anybody have any questions about website resources? Feel free to unmute. Okay, moving on. One of the interesting things going on at the moment, moving on to the topic of airports. I know at Falcon Field, this is something we've known about since about end of November, early December. But Falcon Field Airport Administration is looking to institute landing fees. They initially were going to be a $30 per light aircraft under 6,000 pound landing fee. That is now a $20 landing fee. They have reduced it slightly, but there is a caveat in their little fee structure. And you can find more information about this if you simply go to the Falcon Field Airport's website. Right on the home screen, there's a link, a big like circle banner in the middle of the page that says fees and or fee structure and something like that. So if you click on that, it'll take you basically to a page that outlines all of the resources of what they're proposing, what the fees are for different weights of aircraft. But this is all going, sorry, I was going to say that the caveat is on their fee structure. There's a little asterisk at the bottom in small print that says if the operational count at the airport drops significantly more than 10%, then they will raise the fees to match what the need is as far as financial obligations of the airport. And so who knows what the actual fee will be in the future. And there's, I know, a large group of us on the airfield. A lot of the flight training communities get together and we're trying to work hand in hand to try and kind of fight this so that we obviously will have a huge impact financially as well as for safety for the operators on the airfield that are doing flight training. We're all going to have to basically do our landings elsewhere to avoid paying significant fees that will impact schools significantly. So this, I want to let everybody know that there's going to be a lot of traffic once this goes into practice. A lot of traffic from Falcon is going to offload to the other surrounding airports. So please be aware of that. The vote for the city council on this matter, we have been told, is on March 23rd city council for the city of Mesa meeting. So as soon as that vote passes, fees can start immediately. We're not exactly sure how the airport is going to be tracking the fees and the method that they're going to administrate the fees. It's probably going to be ADSB information, or it may even be a set of cameras that they set up on the airfield to um, capture tail numbers. But I believe that you get a fee anytime your wheels touch the pavement. So, um, but again, we don't know exactly how that will look. Are they billing you by tail number? If you're a large flight school, are they billing you just in a one tab every month? We don't know what that will look like, but um, uh, so would encourage everybody to follow that. Be at the city council on March 23rd. If you have anything you want to say, you can actually speak at that meeting. You just need to register beforehand. And does anybody have any questions on that topic? Cool. And if you do want to be added to the local work group of flight schools that are working on this issue, you just email me, brent.crow@cae.com, and I'm happy to get you added. There's also, I know, Bill, this was stated last meeting, going through the AZ House and state legislature against using against the use of ADSB information for fee tracking and collection. So I don't know if there's any update from anybody on the call on that. I don't have an update. I know Cary Grant was following this pretty closely, as well as some other folks, but I don't see them in the meeting. So all right.
All right.
Move on to the next topic. I know that Glendale had some changes, so just letting people know that that change should be happening about now. I know, or I'm sorry, next year. So just expect some different runway numbers because of the magnetic variation there. The at Ryan, I know there's some approaches that were unavailable due to some construction going on down there. I don't know if anybody has any update. Is anybody on the call from Ryan? All right. So check ATIS and NOTAM there because I know there's construction. And I did receive a email of some construction work going on down there. And then at Marana, I know we did get an liveatc.net feed up at that airport, so you can check it out on liveatc.net if you're interested. And then I know Gateway's also got some construction going on with runway closures and things. So be sure to check NOTAMs. I know there may be some restrictions on pattern work there. I don't know if anybody from Gateway has updates that's on the call.
Hey Brent, if I could just emphasize that one for Marana,
Yeah.
there's been a lot of close calls and potential issues and things. Just want to emphasize that this is valuable if something happens that causes someone a safety concern to be able to go grab that audio as part of a safety concern report to an operator, a flight school, even to the FSDO if necessary. That's one of the nice things I have in that feed there is to be able to access the archives.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that a lot of us use it for training too. If you want to know what is the drop parachute, what does the drop zone sound like when they're dropping parachutes, you can listen to some recordings there and see what their actual calls sound like. All right. Anything else on airports?
I
Okay.
have a question if anyone happens to know. It's gone now, but a few weeks ago there was a NOTAM at Deer Valley where the LPV minimums were not available to either approach, either 7 right or 25 left. And I am just curious to know why that happened. It was for several days, I think more than a week. Does anyone here know anything about that? I don't understand from a technology point of view what would have caused that because in the airplane, it showed we had WAS, it showed we had LPV minimums, yet there was this NOTAM saying that it was not authorized to fly to those minimums. Um, and there didn't seem, I don't remember seeing any other cranes or any unusual obstacles that would have caused that, but I don't know. Just curious. Nobody? Okay.
It's a quiet group today. Okay.
You're going to get done in record time.
I guess. I guess we're going for a world record. I'll keep going then. All right, moving
Oh,
on to airspace.
I raised my hand, but I
Oh,
just
Russ has his
Go
hand up.
ahead.
Sorry.
I was going to share a couple of things in Yuma going on. You know, the because of the heightened security issues around the globe and the active military, activities that are out of Yuma, they've actually shut down our north-south runway totally, and through the FAA have eliminated all of the approaches, and to use the parallels that go on a diagonal, you actually have to file a flight plan and get permission 24 hours in advance to use that, unless you're a commercial airline. And so the north-south winds in this area, I was going to say over the weekend, they were steady at 50 to 18 knots and gusting to 30 out of the north. And so obviously you weren't going to be taking off in a smaller aircraft. So a lot of heightened security restrictions on pilots' access to the airport and their hangars, and so a lot of stuff going on. They also closed. They also decided on an extended TFR. They're closing the. They closed the. Canceled the air show in El Centro,
Hmm.
and that's where the Blue Angels do all their winter rehearsal and practice.
Right.
So just anything going on with military is getting really, really dicey.
Yeah. My dad and I were going to go watch the red flag exercises up at Nellis Air Force Base, and they canceled that. So,
We were surprised that the air show at Yuma, at MCS Yuma, is actually going to take place this weekend, but all of the civilians have to be bussed on to the base
wow,
from remote parking.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks for that update, Russ.
Yeah, it's really hard on our flight schools here locally. We had about 6 of those. We're not sure if any of them will be able to continue.
Mm. Okay. On to airspace. I know that we talked about this last time. I was seeing if we had any update from any TRACON folks on the call, but I don't see Matt on the call unless anybody else is here representing to the TRACON or ATC. No, there was basically a letter to airmen, and it was basically describing some of the challenges with managing the stack procedures, and basically the difference between IFR, VMC, IFR, that kind of mantra of merging uh, instrument traffic with visual traffic, and the challenges of that causes, because we've had people doing practice instrument approaches, while maybe an IFR approach actually comes into the stack, and trying to merge. We've had instructors that are familiar with the stack try and then change to flying stack procedures, but that's a VFR procedure. So you need to stay in alignment with your IFR clearance. And we do recommend that if you're doing IFR and you want to actually file, don't file to Casa Grande. Go file somewhere else, because otherwise you're going to fly through the hornet's nest and put yourself in a very precarious situation trying to fly an IFR clearance through a huge stack of aircraft flying visual meteorological processes. So it's not that it can't be done. It's just it'll get a little dicey.
I would include Coolidge with that as well. It's just not
Coolidge would
worth
be
the
another.
risk, not
Yeah,
worth the hassle.
yeah, absolutely. But seeing as no updates on that, I'll skip to the next one unless anybody has any thought process. The other one's also an update because we had some jump activity, basically some training and briefing materials that were being put out for there. I think we have it on our website, correct, Jim? Or is it just a Facebook
You
post?
know, I don't know. I wasn't at the last meeting, so I don't know if that got posted or not. I'll make a note to circle back with Tom and
Okay.
see where that's at. If I did post it, it's on the practice area page, but I don't know if we got the one that this is referring to. I
So there's
think
basically,
the ASU study was newer than what I'm thinking of.
yeah. So there's a document that's like 15 things basically pilots should know about skydiving. If you're unfamiliar about skydiving ops, there's a group of skydiving operators that got together, put together some useful information for the rest of the training community to know more about their work and what to avoid and what to watch out for safety concerns. So you can check that information out. Hopefully it's on our website. If not, it should be up there soon. And I know that they were looking to update that document with some more information that they had discussed at a previous meeting. So keep an eye out for that. If you are new to the group, there is quite a significant amount of parachute drop zones in our practice areas. So especially to the south and east, a little bit to the west as well. So make sure you watch for those little parachute symbols on your chart and check your NOTAMs. And there is a parachute jumping exercise supplement in the chart supplement, which will highlight all the different areas and their typical operating times, ranges, frequencies, those sorts of things.
Before you move on, can I jump in with a question?
Yeah, please.
Prairie here. I'm on my wife's computer. She's listening in the background, but had to step away. I'm former FAST team. She's current FAST team. She's chief flight instructor down at Ryan. I'm a baby pilot, but former pretty serious civilian skydiver, and did some military stuff. However, there are military groups that have, most recently at Ryan, established a jump zone that had a NOTAM. The center of it was 9.5 miles southwest of Marana, smack dab in the middle of the Silver Bell practice area. The ring of it is just barely by a quarter mile outside the 23-mile restricted area from the Tucson VOR. And their jump zone straddles 2 Victor Airways. The punchline is the mix of those things makes it a really stupid place to permit a parachute jumping operation. But we have had absolutely zero luck trying to find any route into the procedures within FAA to find a method to allow public input prior to FAA granting permission for these people to go and have jumps. In this case, we know it's military special operations forces running their own show. And because they fully understand how horrible it is to coordinate anything with jump activities, they don't go where anyone else is jumping and set up their own shop, typically out of El Tiro. Anyone have any suggestions on how we can start getting some feedback in there to control or reduce the number of parachute jump operations that are, as you said, right in the middle of designated training areas?
What was your name again?
Ian McCrary.
Ian, great. Thank you for being here. Do you know Tom Cowan by chance?
No, name rings a bell, but no.
He's usually at these meetings, and hopefully he's doing well. He's been battling some pretty serious health issues the last few years, but he's been our volunteer taking point on these parachute topics. If you want to just send me an email, I'll introduce you to Tom by email. That's probably the best avenue. He's got connections, military, civilian.
We can try that. We've sat in on a lot of the meetings, but they're all broadcast and no receive.
Gotcha.
This is what we're doing, and you better lump it, which I'm kind of in favor of for a lot of things. But every once in a while, someone needs to understand that they've kind of crossed the line, and there's just no mechanism to get that feedback upstream.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It's an ongoing challenge. My email's in this shared Google Doc, and I just put it in the chat.
I'll grab it. Thanks.
Yeah, that's a good question. And yeah, you're not the only one that struggles with this from time to time. They seem to pop up like daisies some days. And yeah, it's like, why would they put a drop zone here? So yeah, it's good feedback.
And as a skydiver, I love the idea of more drops, but the civilian groups and even the military groups at Marana, absolutely zero problems. Well established, everyone's understood, they know the procedures, and then you get these guys coming up who think they own the airways, and it creates problems, especially when you got student pilots doing solos, like Ryan to Gila Bend. They're going right through the middle of it with parachutes opening on top of the airplane. It's just not a good scene.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, good point. Moving on, unless anybody else has any comments on that topic. This is kind of in regards to the opening local comment earlier about the NPRM regarding Class Delta changes for Chandler and Gateway. This was the comments that we had from last meeting on that. And I'm just copying here just to keep it on record that we're aware of this and make sure everybody that reads our minutes is aware of it. But I know the comments on the notice of proposed rulemaking did close earlier. I know that there's those community engagement meetings that I discussed earlier. So check that out. But this is what I understand as to the nature of what their proposed changes were to those particular airspaces. And I have heard rumors as well that some of these changes are moving towards trying to gain a Class Charlie airspace for Gateway eventually. And that this is kind of setting some of the groundwork to do some of the environmental studies and things like that to make that happen. So anyway, information for everybody. Any comments on that? Does anybody else have anything else regarding airspace that you want to discuss?
Yeah, do you mind if I jump in here for a sec?
You do, Norm, go ahead.
Yeah, hey, it's Norm DeCare here with APS operating out of Gateway. Sorry, I missed the opportunity to talk to you earlier when you were asking about construction and stuff at Gateway. The inner runway, so 12 right, 30 left, continues to be half closed. And so it can be used for departures or landings only for light GA airplanes, depending on which runway's in use, as long as nobody's flying over top of the construction area. But the other two runways are largely fully in use. There's a couple of restrictions for the taxiways, but the airport's operating pretty well. I mean, I've seen a few times where they've limited the number of airplanes just because the traffic density gets too high without having the full three runways operating the way they're used to. But in general, that's going really well. For the airspace side, I just want to keep putting the reminder out there that to the east of Gateway Airport, we've put our airspace into the website so that people know where APS operates. And we just want to keep putting out the reminder that we're an unconventional training system. And so for airplanes that are operating in the area around where we do our training, typically you would see an airplane 2,000 feet above you, 3 miles away, opposite direction. It might not be a big deal. But unknowingly, an APS aircraft can quite easily lose 2,000 feet in the space of 20 seconds as our customers are learning about dealing with upset conditions. And so we just want to keep putting out the reminder, like what we've put inside the documented airspace and stuff and the info bulletins is, if people can try to respect as much as possible, we know everyone has jobs to do, but we try to make sure we stay above 6,000. If people can try to stay below 6,000, that way we can ensure separation between our aircraft and our different training institutions and just enhance safety for everyone.
Okay, so please stay below 6,000. Is that correct? Did I hear you correct?
Yeah, 6,000 and below. We try to ensure that we don't go below 6,000. If we do, we've ensured that there's nobody down there. Like once in a while, we might do a spin exercise, which might take us below 6,000, but we've done a really good, we try to do that all the time, but in general terms, where we experience an event where we want to allow our customers to make errors as they deal with their upset recovery practices, we will not let them go below 6,000 feet.
And they've given us some great info. It's on our practice areas page at aftw.org. I just dropped the link in the chat. They've got a great 14-minute video and the KML file people can import.
Excellent. Thanks for the update, Norm. Or I think your call sign is DQ, isn't it?
That is correct. Yes, thanks.
Is that because you have a lot of blizzards after your flights, or?
No, it's because look at my last name and try to figure out how to pronounce it.
Okay. Wasn't sure if there was some sort of ice cream story there. Okay. All right. Thanks for the update, Norm. Does anybody else have any other airspace related or airport related stuff? Cool. There's a couple projects that we are working on still. We're trying to update the procedures for practice instrument approaches. I know Jim has been a forerunner on this for some time, and I think could really use somebody who's familiar with the practice instrument approach procedures more maybe in the East Valley. But or even down in Tucson. So if you want to help participate with that project, you can send an email to Jim, and we'd be happy to link you up with our resources there and help get that completed. Jim, anything you want to say on that?
Nope, I think that covers it.
All right, cool. And we do have an AFTW points of contact list. I won't bring it on screen because of recording and internet, and I don't want people's contact getting out in ether. But we do have a document we're trying to track points of contact at different schools, so that if we have a question or a safety concern, we can reach out amongst each other as operators and have that touch point. So if you realize you're not on that point of contact, let us know. Or if you think you may not be there, just send an email, either Jim or aftw.org's contact page, and then we can get you added to that. Okay, Jim, this was from you, so do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. Go ahead and pull up our Facebook group.
I don't know that I have it up. I
It's at the top of the document. You can just click on it.
Okay.
So if you guys haven't yet, please join our Facebook group. It is a private group. We're trying to, keep the spammers out, and we do have a few questions. If you're trying to join it, make sure you answer I think there's 3 questions. Just again, make sure you're not a spammer or a bot or something. So we just wanted to bring up the topic of the content of the page. Our glider friends have recently been posting some first solo announcements and pictures, which is awesome. We all love to celebrate each other. Just wondering if the AFTW page should be used for that. Our organization's all about safety. We do have posts where we talk about, welcome new members, and Stacy's really good about staying on top of that. And we certainly want to keep it friendly and helpful. What is going on with your internet? Come on, you're not even logged in. Okay, I don't think that's going to work. Let me see. Can you stop sharing and I'll share my screen real quick?
Sure.
All right. So we're just opening this for discussion, and now I got to find the AFTW link. Wanted to see if anyone on the live call has any opinions on this. Oh, I see what's going on. Sorry. I had the AFTW log in there. Anyone from the glider community here on the live call? So we're talking about, Eric, is Eric here today? And I don't want to call you out like you're in trouble, because we've just never really had discussion about, what we should or should not be sharing here. It's been pretty open. But we really, the intent of this was to be a place that we could have some clear and timely communication, especially if there's a TFR or any other kind of time-sensitive NOTAM. We want to be able to quickly get the information out to the group. Here's Stacy, one of his posts about welcome new members. This is probably the lightest thing that I've posted recently. I do think that this goes along with promoting the AFTW, even though it's kind of silly. But someone had asked for a high res graphic, so we got AI to redo the low res one that we had. More from our glider friends here and here. So I don't know. What are you guys' comments? Part of being at the live meeting is you have a voice. So please unmute. Let us know what you think. Should we care? Should we police this more? Should we just kind of let it keep going as it's going? What do you guys think? And we've always said silence is consensus.
Silence is consensus.
There's Carrie. How you doing?
Yeah, sorry, is anyone else speaking right now?
No, go ahead,
No.
Norm.
Yeah, I think along Jim's point, I mean, I like the idea of, we want to be celebrating, we want to be promoting and stuff like that, but it's a bit of a slippery slope if we start having people starting to publish things every time something of moment happens within each individual sector. I mean, pretty soon we can find ourselves, we're trying to screen the safety stuff outside of all the other traffic that's coming through there can become an issue. I mean, I tend to think and I don't like to put down on anything, but I do kind of think that we should be trying to save it more for passing or relaying information that is important to the community.
Thank you, DQ. Anybody else?
Yeah, I kind of align with DQ. I mean, I think it's better to stick the page to more of its objective. And I do think if every flight school posted their solo person, we'd have a real struggle trying to find the safety information in our feed. So I would
Okay.
probably reach out.
There's I think there's 3 or 4 of us that are the current Facebook administrators. So I'll get with the other few and get their input since they're not here at the meeting. And unless anyone feels strongly the other way, if our glider friends want to put in a vote, go ahead and just do the contact page at aftw.org. Send us your feedback. We appreciate it.
Cool. Autonomous discussion.
Your toolbar hide again?
No, I'm just making a note of that in the notes. Sorry.
Ah, there you go. Go ahead and share your screen again. That's good.
Yep,
We can
I'll
see
share
it.
my screen again.
Thanks.
Going. Come on. Okay. Okay. And we already shared that one. Frequency update. I don't know that our friends from Tucson dealing with the FCC update. I don't know, Carrie, do you have an update on the FCC frequencies?
Yeah, the latest update is the FCC is still finagling with some of our points and asking for clarification on our spreadsheet. So they're in the process of working it, and I think this is all positive, the direction that we're going. So they would have said absolutely not if they were going to do that. They wouldn't have us jumping through all these hoops to make sure all our T's and I's are dotted. So I think it's a positive thing. The latest one was, I think, the southwest quadrant. I had put in 2 center points, which are right in the center of Sky Harbor, and they asked that we take them out. So I don't know why that one particular quadrant, because all the quadrants share the same center point fix, but I'll do it and I'll get it back to Lee and she can resubmit it to the FCC.
Cool. Thanks for the update. I guess that doesn't qualify any further. Sorry, that was in here from last meeting minutes. Anything, Carrie, you want to promote for ASAG upcoming meetings or anything? Just check out FAAsafety.gov.
FAA Safety, well, we are going to have a booth at the Luke Days. So Ernie was looking for volunteers to man that besides myself. So we will be out there. Luke Days are the 21st and 22nd. So of course I see the chat here. There's a Delta going up, or a TFR for the Delta down at Yuma for their air show. You can expect similar thing down at Luke. And I've noticed also down in Tucson, every weekend there seems to be a TFR up for the Heritage flight practice. And I was down at the PMR Museum last Saturday, and it's quite an air show that they're putting on in the afternoon for the practice. So you don't have to wait for Luke Days to see the at least the Heritage with F-35 and an F-22 flying in formation. And then other things that we've got, parachute jump operations. We've had some very close calls on that where a flight school airplane went between canopies. I don't want to name the flight school, but we are working with them, and we will be having a series of seminars with them on the hazards of flying in the South Practice area through the parachute jump operations. And not only have we had problems with the flight schools, we've had problems with individual pilots. One came out of Falcon and flew right through Bishop and through the drop zone over there, did a bunch of maneuvering, then he turned around and went back to Falcon. So I think that's the dangers of our winter visitors that aren't really familiar with all the hazards that we have out in our practice areas.
Right. Yeah, we talked about the parachute drop zones, I think, before you jumped on the call, Jim.
Okay.
Gary, sorry. And yeah, that was brought up.
So question, Carrie, I mean, I'm sure there's close calls everywhere, but that one you mentioned of someone going between canopies was, which drop zone was that?
Coolidge. And
Down
it
in
was a
Coolidge?
night drop.
Oh, wow. And it was in the designated area that we have on our overlay,
Yes.
or the NOTAM area, I guess it is.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So
I have a question for you.
What was the name of that other one that's over by Estrella?
that's
Bishop.
Mobile Bishop.
Bishop, that's it. Yeah. Okay. Adding that to our notes earlier. Excellent. Yeah, and we also they talked about some of the. Oh, looks like Carrie's busy. Sorry, Carrie. They were just also mentioning earlier that I think the air show down for El Centro practice. Russ had brought this up earlier that the air shows for military activity, we're seeing a lot of them get canceled.
Yeah. And that was a big one. That's where the Blue Angels are the key ingredient. So that was a big one for the Department of Navy to cancel for security reasons.
No, interesting.
Yeah. And the Luke days, the 21st, 22nd, is that of March or is that of a different month?
It's March.
Okay. Cool. Just making sure I got that correct. All right. Well, it's open forum at that point. Anybody else have any topics they want to bring up? Other points of discussion?
We have the Ryan Pilot Controller Forum coming up. And I have to look up if Lee's on, she will know exactly. But there'll be a spans for that. We've also got March 28th is the seminar at Marana. And that's from 10 o'clock to noon. And so that's primarily for all the pilots that are flying in and out of Marana or anywhere around Marana. So that includes all our flight schools. It'd be a good event for you to come down to as well.
I'm sorry, what was the date of that Marana one?
28th.
28th, okay. Cool. I know the pilot controller forum for Falcon is currently being determined. We just got calls from the tower asking if we had classrooms available. So I know that that's getting scheduled. I don't have a final date yet, but it looks like they're shooting for like a June time date. So I'll keep you informed on the next meeting on that one. All right. Anybody else?
The Ryan Pilot Controller Forum is the 25th of March.
Thanks.
And Brett, did you talk about although it's a ways off, the airspace?
Yes, we talked about the airspace thing. If there's anything else you want to bring up about that, we just talked about the MPRM and that changes as well as the community engagement site for the modernization project. So we talked about the link registering.
Ernie told me he's on that committee. So we.
Quick question is, do they have a Civil Air Patrol squadron there? And if so, are they going to charge them too?
At Falcon, I believe the only ones that they're not charging are community service orgs like the Mesa Police helicopter.
Okay,
The
not charged.
firefighting activity, that kind of stuff will not get charged. But
I would have heard about it because we do, I mean, search and rescue related. So, but I just wanted you guys knew I hadn't heard anything.
yeah, you're talking about the landing fees, right, at Falcon? Yeah.
Mhm.
I do have some late breaking news, although I don't know the status. Chris Nugent from the Arizona Pilots Association in Otto that's been working on that, on the landing fees, but more importantly, on the use of ADSB as a tool for that. We're down at the state legislature today, and last I got, they were testifying at 4 o'clock to the Senate Transportation Committee on why ADSB should not be used for the assessing of fees. So the bill 2210 made it out of the House side, and it is over on the Senate side now. And we are looking for bipartisan support, so it makes it all the way through the governor's office without getting vetoed. So hopefully it'll make it out of the Senate.
Okay, good update.
He will be do it.
Okay. Any other points anyone wants to bring up? Next meeting, as you see on the screen, is May 12th at 4 p.m. That's again second Tuesday of every other month. Should say the odd months. And you can register on our website.
Good.
Okay. Well, if no other comments, I'll go ahead and kill the recording. If you do have something you want to talk offline about, you can wait till after the recording ends. But thanks for your attendance, everybody. It's good to talk.
Thank you, Brent. Good job.